Jake had delivered to every house on Maple Street except number 47, because according to city records, that house burned down in 1987, but his GPS keeps sending him there. Welcome to Old Light Stories. Today's delivery route is about to take a very dark turn. Jake Morrison had been an Amazon delivery driver for 3 years. He knew every street, every shortcut, every house number in his zone. Maple Street was part of his daily route, a quiet suburban street with 24 houses numbered 1 through 46, and then 48 through 52. There was no number 47. There never had been, according to the other drivers. Just an empty lot with overgrown grass and a rusted mailbox that the city never bothered to remove. Until Tuesday, October 15th, when his scanner started showing deliveries for 47 Maple Street. The first package was small. Standard Amazon envelope, prime shipping label, nothing unusual except the address that didn't exist. Jake assumed it was a GPS glitch. He marked it, "Address not found," and moved on. But the next day, another package for 47 Maple Street appeared in his van. Then, another. By Friday, he had 7 packages for the non-existent address, and his supervisor was getting complaints about undelivered orders. "Just take them to 47 Maple Street," his manager said, frustrated. "The customer's been calling all week." Jake drove to the empty lot. Tall grass, scattered bricks, and that old mailbox. He called the customer service number on the packages. "I'm sorry, sir," the automated system said, "but that address has been in our delivery system since 1987. Please ensure delivery to the front door." Jake decided to investigate. He stopped at the local library and searched property records for 47 Maple Street. The house had belonged to Robert Chen, an electronics engineer who worked for IBM. On December 15, 1987, a fire had destroyed the entire structure. Robert Chen had died in the blaze, along with his wife and 8-year-old daughter. The fire report was strange. No electrical faults found, no gas leaks. No obvious cause. The fire had started simultaneously in multiple rooms, as if someone had deliberately set it. But what made Jake's hands shake was the final note in the file. Personal effects recovered include one IBM computer with active dial-up connection. Last logged activity, December 15, 1987, 11:47 p.m., automated order placement for future delivery. That night, Jake couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about those packages, about that impossible customer service recording, about a computer that had somehow placed orders from beyond the grave. The next Monday, Jake found 12 packages for 47 Maple Street in his van. This time, he drove straight to the empty lot. He was going to leave them by the rusted mailbox and mark them delivered. But as he approached the lot, he saw something that made him slam on the brakes. There was a house. Not new construction, not a renovation. The house looked exactly like it had in 1987, white siding, red brick chimney, blue front door. Even the 1980 style mailbox by the street. Jake sat in his van, engine running, staring at something that couldn't exist. Through the front window, he could see the glow of a computer screen. Jake's hands were shaking as he grabbed the packages and walked to the front door. Up close, the house looked wrong. The paint was too fresh, but also somehow faded. The windows reflected light, but also seemed to absorb it. He knocked on the blue door. Footsteps approached from inside. The door opened. A man in his 40s stood there, wearing a IBM polo shirt and glasses. Behind him, Jake could see 1980s furniture, wood paneling, and the unmistakable glow of an old IBM computer monitor. "You must be the delivery driver," the man said calmly. "I'm Robert Chen. I've been expecting these packages." Jake's throat went dry. "Sir, according to records, this house burned down in 1987. Robert smiled sadly. "Yes, that's what they tell me. But as you can see, I'm still here, still waiting for deliveries." Robert gestured to the computer behind him. "I was working late that night, December 15, 1987. I had just discovered something about IBM's new computer network, the early internet they called it. I realized you could place orders for future delivery, automated purchasing." Jake looked past Robert into the house. Everything was frozen in 1987. The furniture, the technology, even the calendar on the wall showing December 15th. "I placed orders for items my family would need," Robert continued. "Christmas presents for my daughter, electronics parts for my work, books for my wife. I set them to deliver every few years, thinking we'd need them eventually. But sir," Jake whispered, "the fire." Robert's expression grew distant. "The fire happened while I was placing the final order. 11:47 p.m. I remember the smell of smoke, the sound of my wife screaming. But I had to finish the transaction. The computer was the only way to ensure my family would have what they needed." "Mr. Chen," Jake said carefully, "your family, they didn't survive the fire." Robert nodded slowly. "I know, but the orders were placed before we died. The computer network remembers. And every few years Amazon's system processes another delivery." He showed Jake the computer screen. It displayed a primitive ordering system, green text on black background, showing dozens of pending orders scheduled for future delivery dates stretching into 2025. I've been waiting here, in this moment, for 37 years. Taking delivery of items for a family that no longer exists. Because I couldn't let the system down. I couldn't let the deliveries fail. Jake stared at the screen. The last order was scheduled for December 15th, 2024. Next month. What happens when the final delivery is made? Jake asked. Robert looked at him with eyes that held decades of waiting. Then maybe I can finally tell my wife and daughter that Christmas is ready. Jake handed over the 12 packages. As Robert signed for them on a tablet that somehow showed today's date despite being clearly from 1987, Jake noticed something chilling. The signature was the same on every delivery confirmation from the past 6 months. But it was also on the fire report from 1987. Robert Chen had been signing for packages both before and after his own death. Will I see you next week? Robert asked, as if this was just another normal delivery. Jake nodded, not trusting his voice. As he walked back to his van, he heard the door close behind him. When he turned around, the empty lot had returned. Tall grass, scattered bricks, rusted mailbox. But his scanner still showed one more delivery scheduled for 47 Maple Street. That night, Jake called Amazon customer service about the December 15th delivery. Oh yes. The representative said cheerfully, that's a special order. Automated delivery system from 1987. Very rare legacy account. We have to honor it. Customer loyalty, you know. What's being delivered? Jake asked. There was a pause. Christmas presents. For a little girl named Amy Chen. Priority overnight shipping. Must be delivered exactly at 11:47 p.m. Jake checked the calendar. December 15th fell on a Sunday this year. Exactly 37 years after the fire. Some orders transcend time. Some deliveries bridge the gap between life and death. And sometimes, love is so strong that it programs itself into computer systems that outlast the people who created them. Jake would make that final delivery. Because some promises once made must be kept. Have you ever encountered technology that seemed to remember things it shouldn't? Share your story in the comments. Subscribe to Old Light Stories for more mysteries where the digital world meets the supernatural. Because in our connected age, some connections reach further than we ever imagined.